Hi everyone, my name is Nora. I want to tell you about my sister Barbara's envy and jealousy. She and I are not related. We're actually cousins, but happen to have been raised by her parents. Maybe that's why things went wrong from the moment I moved in with them. Here's the thing. I was living at home with my parents, but they needed to go away on business right away. So my mom decided to leave me with her sister Aunt Audrey for a while. I wasn't very happy right away because my cousin Barb and I already had a strained relationship. For as long as I can remember, she's always been jealous of me. We are the same age, and every time we went for a walk outside, we were surrounded by the same company. Barb got mad because boys wanted to play with me more than with her. Besides, my aunt often put me as an example in her eyes. I happened to be a better student, I played the flute, and also went to drama school. Barb always pursed her lips when we went to visit them. "Barbara, daughter, say hello to Nora. Why don't you say anything?"
"I'm not glad to see her, that's why."
"Barbara, what kind of language is that? You can't say that. Say hello now."
"Hello."
Barb would come up to me and, without looking at my face, throw a short hello and run off to her room. I stood and waved and ignored her. I understood Barb's envy. Even though they lived richer than we did, my cousins still thought I got the best. I got the best friends, good looks, even my hair, and hair was a particular weakness of mine. I adored long and well-groomed hair, so I grew mine all my life. Barb's was short, like a boy's, because she often left gum in it at night. My aunt used to hide all her chewing plates, but Barb had that habit since childhood, and hadn't changed even as she got older. So my folks went away, and my aunt graciously hosted me at her house. We had dinner together and talked and watched TV. Only Barb wasn't there. She was clearly avoiding me. One day we came home from school, and I told her that the schools in town had put up an ad for a performance contest. You had to write a poem about the town in honor of its birthday. They promised a good prize, so I was immediately interested and decided to participate by applying. When I went to the bathroom, my aunt decided to have a conversation with her daughter about it. They got carried away and didn't even notice that I was hiding behind the wall and listening to their conversation. "What news? Barbara, why don't you try it? Nora's going to."
"It's a contest for fools. Why would I do that?"
"Why? They give prize money. I think it's worth a try. Nora's doing it."
"Nora, Nora, Nora. When is she going to get out already?"
"Barbara, what are you talking about? She's family."
"Family come and go. She lives here. She's like a roommate."
"She'll stay as long as she has to. You'd better learn from her."
"You're always making an example out of her. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. She's not your daughter. I am."
"What are you talking about? You know exactly what I mean." I couldn't stand it anymore, so I went in. They both fell silent. I thanked my aunt for dinner and went to bed. The next day, my cousin didn't even say hello to me. I knew I wouldn't last long here, so I called my mom, and that's when she said they needed a couple more weeks. I got upset, started asking which of my friends I could stay with, but they all turned out to say that it wasn't the right time. The contest was coming up fast. I had to prepare thoroughly. I planned to be creative and borrowed scenery from the school theater. I wanted to act as Rapunzel with my hair and talk about the city, and then let my hair down as a sign of beauty and gratitude to the city, saving it from troubles and crises. It was supposed to be funny. I rehearsed, composed, and edited it myself, and then I asked my aunt to check it out. Aunt Audrey was thrilled, clapping her hands loudly and shouting that I was a talent. Then Barbara came out of the room with a disgruntled face. Barb, listen to me."
"I already did. You're yelling so loud you can hear you all over the house."
"I'm sorry, I was rehearsing."
"So you want to show off, huh?"
"What do you mean?"
"Come on, you just want to show off in front of everybody."
"Barbara!"
"What? You're all freaking out over her. When did she become the center of attention, huh?"
"Are you jealous?"
"No way! I'm just pissed off at freeloaders."
"Barbara!" "It's okay, Auntie. It's okay." I went to my room, and when everyone was asleep, I packed up and went back to my house. After all, it's sitting there. It's just kind of scary to live there alone. But it's better than living with Barbara. The next day, Aunt Audrey found me at school, even though I'd left her a note. She was excited, sorry, and talked me into coming back. I didn't want to, but I also didn't want to start a fight between her and my mother, so I agreed. Barbara was joyful until she saw me. A couple of days before the show, my aunt left home on business, and Barbara and I stayed behind to clean. I dusted and she vacuumed. Barb carelessly pulled the cord. It caught on a chair I was standing on, and I fell to the floor, hitting my head hard. Barbara stood at first, then ran up to me with a vacuum cleaner on, and my hair was sucked inside. I yelled like crazy. She pretended she didn't know how to turn it off. Eventually she did, and I looked at my cousin angrily.
What are you? Are you crazy? Oh, that's so embarrassing. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry? You did that on purpose.
Your hair is so long you can vacuum it up. I'm sick of cleaning it off the floor.
So you decided to rip it off my head like that?
What if I did?
You're an idiot. It's not my fault you have an inferiority complex.
And I see you're the most confident one here.
More confident than you. At least I'm smart enough not to be jealous of myself, including your parents.
What did you say?
She grabbed my hair and we got into a fight. I hit her with my hands and she pulled my hair. It hurt like hell. Then Aunt Audrey came into the house, and at the sight of the full scene, she screamed at her daughter. She called her stupid and sent her to her room, and then apologized crazily to me. There is a performance tomorrow. I have to get ready. I'll win the prize and go back to my house. I'm sorry, Aunt. There was no other way. I went to my room and looked at my hair in horror. Tomorrow is the performance, and I have such a nest on my head. I thought quickly and urgently made myself a mask. I braided it and went to bed. I had strange dreams all night about Barb messing up my performance and us fighting. I even woke up in a sweat from the horror and saw that she was sitting next to me and trying to cut off my braid. I was like, "What are you doing?" She grabbed me harder and was already pulling my hair. I pulled my braid back toward me, and she pulled it back towards her.
I hate you! Not only have you taken all my friends, but now you're also claiming my parents? And tomorrow you'll conquer the whole town.
What are you talking about, you freak? Give me my hair back.
Feel what it's like to be an ugly, inconspicuous person like me. No talent, nothing. I spent my whole childhood hearing about how cool you are. Enough. I'm sick of it.
Calm down. I didn't do it on purpose. Then my aunt came in. What's all the yelling about? What? Barbara, let her go. She took away the scissors, and Barbara fell to the floor and began to roar. She expressed everything she felt. She was so lonely and filled with resentment toward everyone around her. I felt sorry for her. My aunt took her away and asked me to forgive her. The next day, I did my performance. Mine was the most creative, and I won. Only this victory did not bring me joy. At the end, the presenter asked me, "Who taught you to write like this, and who gave you the idea?" I looked at the audience where my aunt, uncle, and Barbara were sitting, took the microphone, and said, "My sister, Barbara." My cousin looked up at me. She was surprised. She has always been an example to me. This girl, despite her modesty, has a unique mind. She taught me to be special, to not be self-conscious, to love, to follow my dreams. At 4 years old, she could read and write. She is an excellent clothes designer. You have no idea how beautifully she can draw, and she's also an incredible singer. I wish I had a sister like Barb. She looked at me from the audience and cried bitterly. I cried too, but my words were from the heart. Sincere. After the performance, Barbara hugged me tightly. I can't remember the last time she did that, but it felt good. I'm glad we resolved the conflict and misunderstandings because there's nothing like a sister, isn't it?
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah. I want to tell you the story of how I found out that my father is a billionaire. And it was a real shock because we lived in such poverty. And despite the lack of money, my mom still kept quiet. I grew up, as I said, in a poor family. My mother and I lived together all my life, and when I asked who my father was, she said that his name was Aaron and he was a wonderful man. Smart, tall, handsome, and my mother loved him as much as he loved her. But when I was born, he fell ill and died. Such a sad love story. I felt sorry for my mother, but I'm glad that she loved me and that the love was mutual. I always wanted to meet a guy like that too, so I could suffocate him with feelings. But life puts everything in its place. After I graduated from high school and went to another city to earn money, I did not go to college. My mother was very upset, but there was nothing to do. There was no money to enroll. I finished my maid's course and submitted my resume wherever I could. Being a maid is convenient. You live there, you eat there, and you also get paid. So I got the invitation and I went right away. At the interview, I was warned that in the house, there is a daughter of the owner. My age. She is pretty cheeky and therefore a lot of turnover among the maids. It was clear that it would not be easy. I would have to find common ground with her. 3 days later, I was there. The owner's name was Mr. Alex Ten. His daughter was Ola, and his wife was divorced. Seemingly an ordinary family, the owner was often not home, and the daughter commanded all the servants. She did this when she got bored. One woman was fired on the first day on the job for refusing to tap dance with a book on her head. What I saw gave me the creeps. Ola went right up to the poor woman and told her she was stupid and incompetent. Do you even know what incompetent means? What? How dare you ask me a question without my permission? Who are you? The new girl? You'll be fired in a minute if you don't shut your mouth. Do you understand? You can't fire me. Why's that? I don't know about the rest of the staff, but I signed a contract with your father. It's a formality. He'll fire whoever I want. That's called incompetence in the matter. What did you say? Did you just insult my father? I just stated a fact. You're so smart, aren't you? I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna leave you out of dinner, okay? Oh, so they starve you here too, huh? Do you know it's a violation of human rights while working? Should I go to the proper authorities? What? What authorities? There are many. Shall I list them all? Why are you picking on me? Don't fire her just for refusing to dance. You crossed her boundaries. She doesn't have to entertain you. It's not her job. She's not paid for it. And if I pay her? I turned to the maid and asked, name your price. What? Tell me the price of your dance. Well, I don't know. Maybe $30? I turned to Ola and said, $40. She said 30. 10 is mine for the manager's services. That's robbery. I'm not paying anything. Bring me a lemonade. In the room. She left, and the other maid stood there smiling. She came up to me and started thanking me for keeping her job. I have 2 children, and I'm a single mother. I really need this job. Thank you for helping me. God himself sent you to me. I just shook her hand and introduced myself. Rumors about me quickly spread around the house. Everyone loved me, fed me, and treated me to goodies. But Ola was not happy about it. She didn't know how to get rid of me, so she did things to me. For instance, when I carried a tray of food to her father, she would slip salt in to make him angry. Only it wasn't me who got hurt, it was the cook. Then she broke a vase and she said it was my fault, and the owner said it was no big deal. Then one time she let the dog out and it ran away, and Ola said it was my fault for not closing the gate. But I could see everything on the CCTV. The owner got very angry and then they had a conversation. He always called me smart. One day when he was sitting in his office having a drink, he asked me to bring him another bottle of brandy. When I came in, he was looking at baby pictures of Ola. When her mother left, I had no idea what to do. And I still don't. I sometimes feel so ashamed of her in front of the servants, the guests. She knows it and gets angry and does even more foolish things. She's just trying to get your attention. What? How? It's something that children do. Teenagers are children too. They do good things, and if they don't get attention, they do bad things to attract what is missing. It works in a subconscious level. You can't blame her for that. But you're her age. I didn't grow up under her conditions. It's different for me. And how did you live? So I told him everything, although there wasn't much to tell. And while we were talking like this, Ola noticed she got jealous and came up with a plan of revenge. Insidious and cruel. The next morning, she woke me up early and told me that I had to run into the living room and clean it up because the dog had torn everything up and important guests were coming. I dropped everything and ran to clean up. The guests didn't come, and I knew it was another one of her tricks. I went back to my room and couldn't find my phone. I wanted to call my mother. When Ola came back, I asked her to give it to me, but she pretended not to know what I was talking about. She was so in denial all day. In the middle of the night, the house bell rang. Another maid came running up to me and woke me up. My mom was in trouble. It turned out that my mother's heart was failing. Can you imagine that? I was so angry at Ola and scared for my mom at the same time. I went to my mom's hospital in the next town, and it's a good thing everything turned out okay. She had called me, but I didn't answer. It was horrible. I got very angry and called the owner and told him everything in tears, in anger, and then hung up on him. He arrived 2 hours later with Ola, and their appearance at the hospital was very unexpected. He ran into my mom's room. I stood up in surprise, but my mother and him were even more surprised.
You! What are you doing here? So she's your daughter?
What the hell is going on? Mother, do you know each other?
I'm afraid we need to talk in private first. Anyway, the situation is shocking to say the least.
It turns out that is my father. But the fact is that for many years they really loved each other. However, my father was from a wealthy family, and his parents insisted that he marry someone he did not love. Except for that night, after he left, my mother found out that she was pregnant with me. She wouldn't tell him, and they split up. My father got married, Ola came along, and then his wife left for his rich friend, and my mother never got remarried. That's a sad love story. Ola was hysterical when she found out, and I had a strange reaction. I was both hurt for my mother and angry at my father. Of course, I couldn't work there anymore, so I quit my job and was left without any money. However, not even 3 days after Mom was discharged from the hospital, Dad came to visit us again, with lots of presents and without Ola. He started coming to see us more and more often. Mom interacted with him, but I understood her. She didn't trust him. One such evening, my father sat down next to me as I sat outside on the swing.
The last time we talked like that was in my office.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I'm glad and happy to know that I have a daughter like you.
You could have been a part of my upbringing.
As it turns out, I'm not very good at it.
That's your excuse?
No. I want to hang out with you.
It's not a problem, unless my mom wants it to be. You left her for money. You have no idea what our life was like.
I'll make it up to you. I'll send you to college. I'll pay your tuition. I'll buy you a house, and for your mother.
And Ola?
What about Ola?
She can't handle that.
She has no choice. I made a mistake once before, and I won't make it again.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Then make up with my mother first. It's been almost 6 months since then. Daddy comes to our house often too, sometimes with Ola. She comes grudgingly, of course, but still. At least she doesn't talk back to me, which is good. I have no idea what he and Mom will decide, but if she still puts up with him, that's saying something, don't you think? Are we gonna be a family? Tell me, guys, did you like my story? Write your opinion about it in the comments below the video. Don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel.